Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important topics that appear in our today's newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic from different dimensions, and at last I'll be giving you prelims practice questions as well, guys. Please don't skip this video anywhere. Please do watch until last so that you'll be getting lots of insights regarding how to read current affairs. Okay, let us see the topics of the day. The first one is swim or sink. Reptile patrols likely on Bangladesh border. So this article is talking about India-Bangladesh relations and how we are protecting our border. So this article is important from your IR point of view from GS paper 2. And next topic is states can reap benefits of women's reservation, says Prime Minister. So this article is talking about women's reservation, and you have to see about 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. What is it? What are the provisions? And why Prime Minister said this statement and what is the significance? And this topic is important from your polity from GS paper 2. And next topic is exporters urge government to revive oil rice barter mechanism with Iran. So this article is talking about trade with Iran, and this topic is important from IR and as well as economy point of view. And next topic is there is one article related to migratory birds. So here you have to see about different flyways. And this topic is important from environment and ecology from GS paper 3. And next topic is elastic rules. Government came up with new plastic management rules 2026. So because of this year you may get a mains or else even a prelims based question from that area. So this topic is important from environment and ecology, guys, from GS paper 3. So all these are the topics that we are going to discuss in this class. Okay, look at the title, guys. Read out the title. Swim or sink, reptile patrols likely on Bangladesh border. Okay, so this article is talking about India-Bangladesh border. If you see India is sharing boundary with different countries. Here we have Pakistan, and here we have Afghanistan, and we have China. Here we have Nepal. Here we have Bhutan. This is Bangladesh, and here we have Myanmar. So these are the countries with which we are sharing land borders. And here what exactly you have to see is, first one is you have to know descending or ascending order of countries based on the length of boundary line that we are sharing. And in all these countries with Bangladesh we are sharing the longest boundary, and the smallest here is with Afghanistan. And you have to know that because there is a potential chance of getting prelims question in this way. Consider the following countries, arrange them in descending order and ascending order based on the sharing of boundary with that country. Okay, that is the first possible question. And if you see PYQs, UPSC already asked question on this Bangladesh. The question was in this way: consider the following countries, with which country we share the longest land boundary, that is Bangladesh. So this is the one question UPSC already asked. So because of this, now you can expect in this way, like ascending order or arrange them in descending order. And next one here is you have to know about security forces who are guarding which border. For example, India, Pakistan, and India, Bangladesh is guarded by, we have Border Security Force, BSF, and Nepal, Bhutan is bordered by SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal. And here you have to know about Myanmar is bordered by which forces. Okay, so here you have to know the second area, that is security forces. How you can get a question is, consider the following pairs. On one side they will give you country, India, Nepal, India, Bhutan, India, Bangladesh, India, China. They will give you ITBF, SSB, BSF, like that. And you have to identify the correct pairs and incorrect pairs. On this also UPSC asked a question. So there is a chance of repetition of this as well. Or else recently we discussed about this Sashastra Seema Bal, right? Why? Because of this ongoing elections in different states now in the month of April and May. these people are also involved in this election duties to ensure free and fair elections. You may get in this way. Consider the following statements regarding that. They will be giving you one statement. They will be also participating in this elections and election related works like that. Okay, now let us see about this Bangladesh. So with this Bangladesh, we are sharing around 4096 kilometers of this border we are sharing with this Bangladesh. But the problem here is, okay, this is the northeastern part of India and here we have Bangladesh. This is Siliguri corridor or Chicken Neck. Here we have Bhutan. This is our Assam. This is Arunachal Pradesh. Like this, we have different states of northeast. The problem with this Bangladesh here is, here we have which Himalayas and here we have Purvanchal, right? The problem with this India and Bangladesh border is terrain. They are not like clearly plains. If you are having plains, we can easily go for border management. We are having difficult terrain of hills we have. And this one is, here we have one river. What is that river? Which is flowing in this Tibet area, which is bending. It is flowing like this. Which river is this? River Brahmaputra. And here we have different tributaries which are joining this river Brahmaputra, right? So here we have rivers. Rivers also acts as what? Natural borders in some areas. Even between India and Nepal also we have a natural border with this river Kali. That is a problem, right? Okay, and whenever these rivers are coming and they are forming this delta here, we have Sundarban, right? Sundarban is the world's largest mangrove that is present in West Bengal and as well as Bangladesh. So here in this area we have marshy lands as well. So because of this difficult terrain, we had not drawn complete fence. Do you know these fences? Yes, which we are using like iron or some other metal, and we will be guarding our borders. So here, because of this rugged terrain, because of these rivers, because of this marshy land, entire India and Bangladesh border is not fenced. So because of this, what happens if there is no fences? Even though whatever the border we are guarding by using this BSF, can we ensure that there will be no illegal migration? No. So the problem here is there is illegal migration. And you know, recently what happened in Bangladesh? Political instability because of reservation policy, and even Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, she ousted. And recently elections done in this Bangladesh, right? Zia Khalida's son came into power, yes? And recently we came up with one charter. What is that charter? And I said on that there will be a question on your prelims. Can you recall that? They went for referendum also. Direct democracy tools, we have referendum, recall, plebiscite. Recently they went for referendum. What is this referendum is about? They asked directly people, do we need to change our constitution or not? They took the opinion of the people and more than 50% said yes, we need changes in our constitution. And they came up with one declaration, one charter. What is that? Check your current affairs notes one and tell me, and on that you will be getting a question for sure, guys. It is very, very important. Okay, so this is about this. Now Ministry of Home Affairs. Let us come to this article. Now Ministry of Home Affairs came up with one update. That update is, we are having rivers and we are having marshy areas, and guarding in these areas is becoming difficult. Now we are going to use reptiles. Okay, now we want to use reptiles in this area to guard this area, and we have to control this illegal migration in that area. Which are those reptiles? They want to use crocodiles and snakes to guard our border. Okay, so that is about this article. Here in this image you can see swim or sink. Swim or sink reptile patrols likely on Bangladesh border. Especially in these rivers and marshy areas, it is becoming a big challenge to guard this. So now we are going to use this. Can you see here in this image? Reptiles. We are going to use crocodiles and snakes to guard our border. That is about this article, guys. If you say this context, India and Bangladesh border is around 4,096 kilometers and it is one of the longest land borders in the world. And we are having lots of difficulties across this border. First one is terrain. We are having hills, we are having rivers, we are having valleys and even flood prone areas and densely populated villages. So because of this, we are not having fence throughout India-Bangladesh border. We are having certain areas we don't have fences. So because of this, people are easily entering into India. Because of this, it is creating some problem for management of our border. Okay. Now here, our Ministry of Home Affairs came up with this reptile patrols proposal. In this proposal, they are deploying snakes and as well as crocodiles in this vulnerable riverine gaps. Okay, that is the thing, guys. Okay, and they want to incorporate this crocodiles and snakes in around 175 kilometers of porous riverine marshy gaps, and they will be acting as biological deterrents. Okay, whenever you are writing any answer regarding this environment and ecology, whenever you are writing anything regarding promotion or protection of biodiversity, there you can also use this as example. Even snakes and crocodiles we can use for biological deterrence for border patrolling as well. So in this way, it will be also ensuring our national security. So from that point of view also you can interlink and you can write this statement. Okay, and why India is considering this reptile deployments? What is the reason here is, first one is, there are security gaps in riverine areas where the water or where the floods are happening. There is, like, whenever we are going for proper border controlling also, infiltrators are coming and they are also smuggling or exploiting the things. So we are having certain gaps. So we have to fill this gap with these reptiles. And this one is manpower and technology limitations. So BSF is also having chronic shortage of the manpower, and even whatever the technology they are using, that is outdated technology. So because of this, we cannot control this kind of illegal migration infiltration. So because of this, we are going to use this kind of biological things. Okay, snakes and crocodiles, they create a fear factor. If people wants to jump, can they jump easily? Because of this fear of crocodiles, they cannot. So because of this, we can control this problem to some extent. Okay. See this next article, guys. Title says states can reap benefits of women's reservation. Says Prime Minister. What is this article talking about? This article is talking about women's reservation, right? What is this Amendment Act? What is the name of this and number of this Amendment Act? 106 Constitutional Amendment Act. What is this 106 Constitutional Amendment talks about? Women reservation, 33% of or 1/3 reservation of women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, 106th Constitutional Amendment Act, right? Okay, now you guys tell me, is it useful or not? What is your opinion? Whenever we are increasing women representation politics, is it useful or not? Yes, how and why? Give me examples. How women representation is helpful? What do you think? Hmm. Come on, guys. Okay, why Prime Minister said this statement? States can reap benefits of women reservation. How states can reap benefits of women reservation? Come on, tell me. Okay, tell me at least from which subject we can see this. Reservation comes under polity from GS paper 2. And even women, we are talking about women. Women will be studied under society and social issues point of view. And in essay, this is one of the favorite theme of UPSC, women empowerment, gender equality, and even sustainable development goals also have this, right? So now let us see exactly what is this article talking about and how women reservation politics is very important. Okay, what is the full form of this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act? That is Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. It is 106 Constitutional Amendment Act, which is saying 33% reservation for women in legislative assemblies and as well as Lok Sabha. Okay, and when it was passed in 2023. In 2023 UPSC prelims, there was a question on this. Consider the following statements regarding this Nari Shakti Adhiniyam. They gave only two statements and they asked one only, two only, one and two, or none. And they said to find out which of the above statements are right. Very simple question 2023. And this time you may get question on census, you may get question on delimitation, and you may get again question on this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act because it is in news. And you have to see these three areas thoroughly, guys. Okay, if you see about this 106 Constitutional Amendment Act, it was passed by the Parliament to ensure 1/3 reservation for women in Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, and as well as in Delhi as well. And what is the timeline they said? We are going to come up with census, after census delimitation, and after delimitation implementation of this 1/3 reservation for women. So recently what is the update we studied in current affairs? If you start census now, it will take a lot of time and delimitation is very complex. If we do these two things, we cannot implement 1/3 reservation in upcoming elections. When we are having upcoming elections in 2029. And even it is doubtful that whether we are going to start this reservation 2034 elections also. So what they said government, rather than going with this new census data, we will start delimitation with 2011 census data. That is the thing that we discussed. So because of this, you may get a question on the census and delimitation. That is the reason. Okay, now let us see the key provisions of this. They made certain amendments to articles and even they inserted new articles. Please make a note. First one is they amended Article 239 AA. Article 239 AA talks about what? Legislative Assembly of NCT, that is National Capital Territory of Delhi. And what they added, they inserted 1/3 reservation of seats for women under this Article 239A, the first amendment they did. And they inserted two things. The first one here is Article 330A, so 330A. And this Article 330A talks about 1/3 reservation of seats for women in Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly, including the reserved seats for SC and ST. And we have Article 332A, which also talks about Legislative Assembly, and 330A talks about Lok Sabha. And next one is Article 334A, which says that this reservation will come into effect after delimitation. You may get question in this way. Consider the following articles. Which article says about delimitation to implement 106 Constitutional Amendment Act? So that is 334A. This article says that this reservation come into effect after next delimitation of constitution. Where it is written? They will be asking, right? So rather than knowing only after new delimitation done, we are going to implement this. You have to know even this article, Article 334A also. Okay, so why we need women reservation? Why Prime Minister said this statement that yes, states are going to reap the benefits? The major reason is, first one is there is under-representation of women in our politics. Yes or no? Here in Legislative Assemblies only less than 8% of women were participating, and in Lok Sabha we have around 14%. So there is lots of under-representation. If there is very less representation of women, women-related problems will be not heard. So if women-related problems are not heard, can government make the laws based on that? No, that will not lead to gender equality. And if you want to achieve the sustainable development goals, what is the target year? 2030. How many sustainable development goals we have? 17. In that, one major one is gender equality. So if there is no representation of women in our politics, how these problems of women is hurt? That is the first one. And next one is, if you are comparing with our neighboring countries, even if you compare with this Bangladesh or like Nepal or even Bhutan, there is a good women representation. But India is a very big country with our neighboring countries and even huge populous country in the world. But despite of that, there is very less participation of women. So because of this, obviously we have to improve the representation of women. And next one here is political inequality. When there is a very low representation of women in politics, obviously India's ranking in global gender gap report will be bad. Okay, if we are not having the good rankings, can we attract investments? Can we show soft power? If India goes and if India wants to talk anything about women in other countries, what they'll say, first look at your country, how much participation of women is there. So like that, will they counter India or not? Then what happened? Can India act as a leader of global south? So for that, for sure, we have to improve women participation. And this one is patriarchal politics. So even after women entering into politics, who will run that in the background? Husband, sarpanch pati, panchayat pati. Yes. So here, if we want to remove that, if we are increasing more and more representation of women, women will be having that kind of abilities to manage everything in politics. So for that reason, we have to increase the representation of women. And next one is gender sensitive policies. If we want to address societal problems related to women and children, because women and children are more vulnerable compared to that of other sections of societies. If their problem has to be addressed, we need to ensure their participation in politics. Okay, and even there is some evidence that because of increasing of women participation in politics, lots of changes we are bringing in the society. Recently, we discussed about one panchayat in Rajasthan which became first. What is that? Did we discussed? I think twice or thrice we discussed that article. Panchayat became. Tell me, Divya. It is the first village which achieved zero carbon goals. How? They increased solar participation, they increased the tree cover, and they are focusing on proper recycling everything, and that led by a woman sarpanch. So if we are increasing more and more participation of women, we can get that kind of more and more advancements in our society. Because women normally they are good at making their house clean. You can't imagine a home without a mother for 5 to 10 days, yes or no? We will eat and we'll keep whatever we want there itself. We are not bothering about the cleaning and keeping our home neat. After mother comes, she will start scolding. What you did, and what she'll do? She will only make everything right within 2 to 3 days. Yes? Yes or no? So, women, if they are leading this kind of activities, and women, if they are participating more and more in this politics, they will help for achieving of our climate related goals. And recently we discussed about our new updated INDCs, intended nationally determined contributions. If you want to achieve that all those things, obviously we have to improve women's participation. That is about this article. So this next one, exporters urge government to revive oil rice barter mechanism with Iran. What is this article talking about? Oil rice barter mechanism. Have you heard this barter system? In your history or in your economy, when you study about evolution of money, the first economic system we used to have is barter system. What is this barter system? Exchanging of goods. I have rice, you have that, please take rice and please give me your product. That is called as barter system. So this article is talking about oil rice barter mechanism. Between whom? India and Iran. Earlier we used to have oil rice barter system between India and Iran. Okay, we used to give rice to Iran and we used to get crude oil from Iran. That is the barter system that we used to have. And now this article is saying that exporters urge government to revive oil rice barter mechanism with Iran. So first we used to have this barter mechanism, and later on whatever the trade we used to do with Iran, we used to do with Indian rupee only. Okay, but because of the sanctions of US, we reduced the trade with Iran and we made it to zero. And later on we diversified our oil sources from different countries. Now this article is saying that Iran is in need, yes or no? Iran is in war and lots of its economy got disrupted because of bombs, because of attacking of oil fields, gas fields, nuclear facilities, everything, right? So here Iran wants for sure rice to enhance or to support livelihood in that, or like life of the people in that area. And India needs what? India needs oil for our people. So both are having the wants. They want rice, we want oil, so that we can revive our oil rice barter mechanism. That is about this article. Okay, now let us see this article. Iran and India have a long history of bilateral trade, and we are getting lots of Iranian crude oil, and in return we used to export rice, tea, textiles and pharmaceuticals to this Iran. And Iran has been one of the key market for Iran's rice. We used to send around 3 million tons of basmati rice from Punjab to Iran earlier. So because of this now, because of this fear of sanctions, we reduced everything. But now we are in need of oil and Iran is in need of rice. So here now exporters are saying that yes, we can go and revive this relations once again. Okay, now you guys tell me what are the advantages of this revival of this kind of system. First one here is we can enhance supply chains. Yes, we can increase our exports to Iran now, so that we can produce more and more of rice in our country, so that we can create employment opportunities in agriculture and we can increase our agriculture GDP. And next one is from Iran, what can we get? Crude oil we can get, so that we can come out of this volatile conditions to some extent and we can ensure energy security in our country. And if you are doing this trade in case of Indian rupee, then what happens? We can pay in Indian rupee, so that what happens, we can stabilize our Indian rupee. Why? Because now there will be increased demand for Indian rupee rather than that of dollar. But actually what we discussed in earlier classes, petrodollar concept. What is that petrodollar concept? International market, crude oil is sold and acquired based on this dollars. But if you're going with trade with Iran in rupee, then what happens? We can also break that dominance of dollar. So nowadays we are focusing on de-dollarization mechanism. Yes or no? What is this mechanism of de-dollarization is about? We want to reduce the dependency on Indian dollar. That is one example or not? Now if you are going for this revitalizing of this trade between India and Iran, and if we do in this rupee, then what happen? Can we promote this de-dollarization? So like that you have to interconnect everything, guys. Okay, now what are the challenges we have? But if you want to revive this, we are having a challenges. First one is, do we have safe, secure shipping route now? No, Strait of Hormuz is not secure. Because of this, we are having logistical challenges in this conflict areas. And if you want to do export anything, we need to have proper approval from authorities and proper security checks. And even valuation mechanism, rice versus oil. How much amount of rice is equal to how many liters of oil? Again, we have to go for valuation. Proper valuation is also very important, right? This is also one challenge now. And how can we monitor so that we can prevent the misuse? That is also one problem. And next one here is, there is a potential sanctions can be imposed by US once again on India, because Iran is under which list? Blacklist of FATF. We discussed that. And next one is, there is no complete solution regarding this war. Can we expect that when this war gonna end? No idea at all. So these are the some challenges that we have to continue with this barter system of trade with Iran. Okay. Okay, see this article guys, what it says. How energy efficiency drives seasonal mountain bird migration. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of migration? I've heard this word migration. You will be studying in geography, you will be studying in environment. Tell me what is the migration? Migration means nothing but movement. They are moving from one place to another place. So here you can see bird. What is it bird? Have you seen that bird? It is not khaki. Khaki's beak is black. It is yellow. Kokila. Okay, see this guys. So this article is talking about especially birds. Why this bird migrate? Why this bird? Okay, tell me why humans will migrate first of all. Employment, health, education. For better standard of living, people will migrate. You know that. Then why these birds will migrate? Do they want better standard of living? Do they want employment opportunity? Why these birds will migrate from one place to another place? Many a times in Hindu and even Indian Express, you'll get lots of articles related to bird species. These birds are coming to India. This is the season we are expecting the birds. And even recently, olive redley turtles, they came to this Gahirmata coast and we discussed about the conservation of the 20,000 eggs of olive redley. Yes or no? We discussed that, right? Why these animals and birds will migrate? What is the reason? First one is for food. They have to sustain their life. First, life is very important than any other thing for food. And second one is for mating purpose. Next, temperature. If temperature is not good here, normally have you ever seen, normally whenever you are in this school age or in your school days, if you got summer holidays, where will you go? To villages. Yes or no? Why you will go to villages in summer holidays? Comparatively temperature is low in this villages and it will be cool so that you can protect your health. That is the reason why your parents will send you to villages, to your grandparents' homes. Yes or no? No idea. Very good. Okay, so here temperature is also very important. Insolation topic is done, right? Here we have equator, 30 degrees north, 60 degrees north, 90 degrees north, 30 degrees south, 60 degrees south, 90 degrees south. So in which area we are having more temperature? It is tropical region, 30 degrees north to 30 degrees south we have more temperature. Why we have more temperature there? What is the reason? Yes, sun rays are falling directly, vertically, not directly, vertically. They will fall vertically if this is sun. Then what about poles? What there will be slanting sun rays so that the temperature is less. Okay, you know that in this area we have very high temperature. Now let us see in the month of May. Now it is April, right? So let us see that it is month of May. What will be the temperature in this region? More than 40 degrees centigrade. And remember one thing guys, birds, do you know this eurythermal? No idea. Animals which can live in wide range of temperatures. Some animals cannot live even if there is change of temperature. Do you know this? No idea. Very good. So here you have to see one concept. Some animals can live in wide range of temperature. That means if it is 0 degrees centigrade also they can survive. Even if it is 15 degrees also they can survive. Even if it is 40 degrees also they can survive. But some animals, they cannot survive in extreme temperature or low temperature. Even just 3 to 5 degrees of temperature change also they will die. They cannot stay. So normally birds they cannot withstand. They cannot withstand in different temperature. They want to maintain normal temperature. If they had been habituated to live at 20 degrees centigrade, they will live in that temperature only. They cannot live less than 20 degrees centigrade or more than 20 degrees centigrade. For example, let us take in this region, if there are certain group of birds, they are living in this tropical region. Normally the tropical region temperature will be like 25 to 28 degrees centigrade, for example. But in summer month, what happened? It increased to 40. Can they stay in that temperature? No. What they will do here is, they will try to move towards this temperate regions, not polar regions. Only in this temperate regions they will go. And if the temperature is normalized here, and they will come back again. Okay, for example, let us take the animals which are living in the 60 degrees south or like 60 degrees north. They habituated to live in cold temperature. Then what happened? Normally in the winter season, if temperature is minus 0 degrees or minus 2 degrees centigrade, if they can live? No. What happens at that time? This birds, they will come to this tropical region. So because of this, in your environment you will see these two kinds of migration: summer migration, winter migration. Summer migration is nothing but birds which are there in these tropical regions, they will move towards temperate regions. In winter migration, this polar birds, or in this temperate region, 60 degrees south, 60 degrees north, they will come towards tropical region. So in this way we have two different types of migrations in the bird: summer migration, winter migration. Whenever they are migrating from one region to another region, they will follow a definite path, that is called as flyways. Okay, very important. And you have to know how many flyways are there and which flyway bring migratory birds into India. Very, very important. On this UPSC asked question, they asked about Central Asian flyway. Okay, now let me say about this flyway. Flyway is nothing but the area or path used by the group of birds to migrate from one area to another area, and in every season they will follow that same path only. Okay, and if you see this image, this is the world map, and you can see different flyways. Okay, first one is East Atlantic flyway. This is Atlantic Ocean. S-shaped ocean is Atlantic Ocean, right? So here to the east of this Atlantic Ocean, we have East Asian flyway. And if you see this, here we have Central Asia part. So here this green color is Central Asian flyway. Here you can see India is there. That means India is getting migratory birds through this Central Asian flyway. And next one is here West Asia part is there and Africa part is there. So this purple color line is West Asian East African flyway. And here we have Mediterranean Sea, we have Black Sea part. So this upper part is Black Sea Mediterranean flyway. And if you come here, we have Australia here and we have East Asia part here. So this is East Asian and Australian flyway. And here we have Pacific Ocean, right? Here we have Pacific Americas flyway. And here Atlantic Americas flyway. And here Mississippi Americas flyway. So totally we have these many flyways, and these flyways are the definite path used by migratory birds. On this Central Asian flyway, you got a question. And India will be getting migratory birds through these two flyways. Central Asian flyway, next one is West Asian East African flyway. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total in the world, we have 9 flyways. Only these flyways will be followed by this birds to move from one area to another area. So if you see this particular article, what it is saying here is birds will migrate. Why? First one is, the reason is food. Birds will migrate from one place to another place for food. Where is that? 1 minute. Okay, here you can see. Okay, migration can be happen in the two ways. First one is they can migrate to short distance, and second one is they will migrate to long distance. So why they will migrate to short distance? Every day that you can see early morning, you can see the sounds of birds, especially in the village area, and they'll go out from their nest. What they'll do? They'll go in search of food, and by the evening time they'll come back, and they will stay in their nest and they will take care of their young ones. That is a short period migration of birds. Why? They will go from one place to another place in search of food. And if temperature is not good, if weather is not good, if they are having like uncomfortable seasons, then they will go for long migration. Okay, long migration is very important. Why? Because they cannot withstand the huge range of temperature. And next one here is this migration will helpful for maintenance of the wetlands. And next one is this migratory birds will also boost tourism and economy of the countries. Okay, this article is saying that especially whenever we see the migratory birds, mostly mountainous bird will migrate a lot. And in the recent study, they found that there are 34 mountainous regions across the world. They found that yes, migration of these birds is happening frequently in these 34 mountainous regions. And they saw that these are moving for resources like food, and even because of this climate change, it is affecting the patterns of this migration of this bird. Okay, if we want to protect this birds also biodiversity, we need to enhance this climate change related programs. And if you are not able to control this climate change, we cannot protect this and this bird species. So that we are going to lose lots of ecological biodiversity, lots of species, and even it will become loss to the country's economy if they are dependent on this tourism. Especially we have lots of bird sanctuaries in India, and even we are focusing on this bird tourism in especially Pulicat Lake, Chilika Lake in that so and so times. So if we are not protecting it, so obviously we can lose our revenue. That is the thing which mainly said here. And see this next article guys, look at this. Elastic rules. India needs proper reckoning of plastic collection and rescue targets. What is this article talking about? Actually, this article is talking about plastic management rules. In 2026, our government came up with new rules. And you know, plastic is an universal problem. Wherever you go, plastic is coming with us, right? We are using plastic intensively. And even we started living together with plastic because in our blood also we have this evidences of microplastics. And even this study which had been done in America said that in the human blood also we have this microplastics, and you can understand how far we are using this plastics. Okay, this article is saying that yes, we have to control this plastic. If you're not controlling this plastic, it will be a threat to our environment. And in 2016 only, our government came up with plastic waste management rules for the first time in 2016. And we came up with the new rules now in 2026. Because of this, it is in news. Now we have to see what are those new rules and what is the importance of this new rules. That's it. On this, you may get a question in your prelims 2026. Okay, this article is saying that Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2026 notified by our government, and these rules will amend our earlier rules we came up in year 2016. For the first time we came up with the rules in 2016, and now the new rules are going to amend this earlier rules. What are the changes? The first one here is mandatory recycle content. Plastic is produced in India. Recently we discussed that even on this petrochemicals also government reduced this import duty, not import duty, customs duty. Yes or no, we discussed it or not, and I said about some important petrochemicals and where we are using like in PVC pipes and making of plastic things, everything that we discussed, right? So that means we are producing plastic in our country, and not only that, we are importing from other countries, and even we have brand owners for plastic also, like we have Tupperware, like that we have certain brands of plastics. Do you know this? Chetan's plastic. No idea. Tupperware everyone knows, right? Especially for food items, especially boxes of you are made up of Tupperware. No? Didn't you use that? Okay, so we have even brand owners. The problem here is there is very less recycling of this plastic. If you're not going for recycling of plastic, then what happen? Day by day increasing of demands will happen. So to satisfy the demands of people, we have to go for more and more production. more and more production is good for the environment? No. So in 2016, the rule was we have to go for at least 30% of recycling. But now this new rule says that 60% of recycling should be done for this plastic. That is the first change. And next one is exemption apply if statutory bodies like AFS-SAI or CDSCO prohibit recycled plastic for specific uses. So AFS-SAI is focusing on controlling of food. So if you are purchasing any food outside, now they will pack in plastic only. For example, you can take ice cream boxes. Even if you buy any chaat roadside, if you want to, if you say that I want parcel in plastic box only, they'll give. And if you purchase any curry in the curry point, plastic, right? If FSSAI is saying that you should not use plastic for certain kind of products, obviously we should prohibit the use. Have you ever seen alcohol is packed in plastic bottle? Alcohol. Very cheap liquor. Oh, I don't know. Very good. So as of my knowledge, normally alcohol will be stored in this glass bottles, not in this plastic bottles. Have you seen normally small kids will be given syrups? Some syrups will be there in glass bottles, some syrups will be there in this kind of plastic bottles. Do you know this? Why? Because certain kind of chemicals, they will leach the plastic. Leaching means nothing but breaking of plastic, and that plastic particles will be mixing with that. So if there is any kind of reaction that can happen, means we should avoid using this plastic. So who will give that guidelines? FSSAI will be giving that kind of guidelines. If FSSAI or CDSCO, it is also one organization, will be controlling this drugs. So if they are giving any recommendation that we should not use that plastic for that product, for sure we have to prohibit that. And next one is they came up with clear definitions of this end of life disposal. That means you have to use this plastic only for this time, not more than this time. And next one here is they are also giving proper definition of what is reuse, what is this processing of this plastic, everything in this new rules. And next one here is reuse obligations. Also they came up clearly. So have you ever bought the water bottle outside, 10 rupees or 20 rupees water bottle, half liter or liter? What will be there on that? After drinking water, crush the water bottle. But what will we do? Will we crush the water bottle? Amma, I have to take this and I have to store something. I can use this bottle for another purpose. Especially rural areas, they won't throw the bottle. They will reuse that bottle like many times. I don't know whether you have this idea in your mind or not. Do you know this kind of thumbs up bottles? Thumbs up, Pepsi, Sprite bottles. If we get that bottle after drinking that cool drink, my grandmother, my grandfather used to store lot of things in that. And they'll say that they are very strong. They won't get. If you're storing in the glass bottle, if suddenly if it fall means it will break. But this plastic won't break. They have lot of affection towards plastic. That is the thing. So because of this, what is happening here is they will not throw it away and they will use that repeatedly, constantly. And after some period of time, that plastic will be get leached into that. And if you are using the contents in that bottle which is stored, means obviously indirectly you are taking plastic into our body. So if that plastic is entering into your body, that will lead to stomach cancer, intestinal cancer, liver cancer, whatnot. That is a major reason why there is increasing of incidence of cancers in villages. You can do some research about how many people are getting cancers in the villages. There is increased cancer incidence in these villages because of this using of plastics. So here now, these rules are saying that we have to go for minimum reuse targets, especially large drinking water containers. We have to dispose it after consuming the water. And next one is they came up with strict standards of recycled packaging must conform to be the Indian standards. So if you are going for using of any recycling product, so we have to label it that it is a recycled product, so that that cannot be used for the long period of time. And next one is even we are focusing on this decentralized enforcement by urban local bodies, and they are going for digital tracking of this packaging of this recycling of this plastic. So these are the new rules government came up to control this plastic pollution. And what is significance? The first one is we can create circular economy. What is the circular economy is about? Reduce, reuse and recycle, right? And on the circular economy, many a times UPSC asked question. Okay, so if you are focusing on this circular economy, we can promote more and more recycle, we can go for more and more reuse, so that we can create very less wastage. If you are creating very less wastage, obviously it will be improving our environment. And this one is obviously we can protect our environment by reducing this plastic pollution terrestrial and as well as marine ecosystems. And if you are reducing the use of this plastic, obviously we can improve this public health as well. And which one is we can improve our accountability related to this waste management, and we can increase compliance. We can have strict control on this plastic production reuse. Okay, see these questions, guys. Can you see the question? Consider the following statements regarding fundamental rights. First one, available only to citizens of India. They can be suspended during national emergency. They are enforceable by courts. Remember guys, FR, DPSP and FD. For sure you will be getting one question. For sure. Tell me guys. Is fundamental rights available only for Indians or like foreigners also? Foreigners also. But there are some fundamental rights exclusively for Indians. What are they? 15, 16, 19, 29, 30. Okay, next statement is it can be suspended during national emergency. During national emergency, which fundamental rights can be suspended and which cannot be suspended? Okay, national emergency will be imposed on how many grounds? External aggression, war. Next one is internal disturbance is there or not? Very good. Yes or no, Govind? What about Article 20 and 21? Can it be suspended or not? Doubt again. Very good. What about Article 20, 21? Can we suspend that during emergency or not? In any emergency, we cannot take away this Article 20 and 21. If we want to take away any fundamental rights, we need to have the presidential order. Without presidential order, we cannot remove this fundamental rights. You have to know these basic things. Revise, revise, revise. This time you will get question on national emergency and president's rule for sure. It had been very long. UPSC didn't give any question on this national emergency and state emergency. Because of the state emergency is in news, now you may get national and state emergency question. So revise this topic guys. And next, they are enforceable or not? Yes, which rights? So here we have fundamental duties, fundamental rights and DPSP, which are enforceable and which are not enforceable. Fundamental rights is enforceable. Then what about DPSP and FD? FD and DPSP are not enforceable. Remember this thing. This is the basic difference. So what is the answer now? 1 is wrong, right? So answer is 2 and 3. Option B is right answer. Are you understanding? See this next question guys. Consider the following statements regarding repo rate. Repo rate is one of the repeated theme of UPSC. Many times. More than 10 or 12 times they asked question on this repo rate and reverse repo rate. You have to know that thoroughly. See the statements. First one, it is the rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks. Second one, increase in repo rate reduces inflation. Third one, it is decided by Monetary Policy Committee. Which of the above are correct? First statement, yes or no? Yes? Okay. Second one, increase repo rate, reduce inflation or increase inflation? Reduce? Clear? Everyone? And what about this third one? Who will decide these rates of banks? We have fiscal policy, we have monetary policy. What is monetary policy? What is fiscal policy? Online students, tell me in the comment box. Fiscal policy is the government steps What government do in this fiscal policy? Increase or decrease taxes, increase or decrease spending, only two. Then what about this monetary policy? It is about interest rates. It is also right. The answer is C, 1, 2 and 3. Why are you confusing that much? Okay, done. Any doubt here? That's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you have not yet been subscribed to Rathod Science Academy, please do subscribe guys. And I wish you all the best.